I've always really been interested in the space industry. I've always wanted to be an astronaut ever since I was little. And when I was in high school, I didn't really know what it meant to be an engineer or how to become an astronaut. And so I thought aerospace engineering was probably a good start. So I entered an aerospace engineering degree at Carleton University. And following that, I again was thinking about long-term goals of wanting to be an astronaut and thinking, okay, well, they probably have master's degrees, they probably have PhDs, so I should try to get a master's. I always enjoyed school a lot. I enjoy research and solving problems and the freedom that kind of comes with academia. And so I pursued my master's degree at the University of Western Ontario. And from there, that's when I really got into doing technical internships and being able to live in France and work at the Paris Observatory and being able to live in California and working at the NASA Jet Propulsion Lab. I didn't know exactly what area of space I was interested in because I worked in very different areas in space weather, in rover technology and machine learning, but I knew that I liked space and I wanted to be involved in the space industry. And when I found out about the company Planet and what they were doing and Earth observation, I thought this is exactly what I want to do. Being able to use space to help life on Earth is something that I'm extremely passionate about, where I get to, balance my love of space, but also know that what I'm doing and the career I'm pursuing is impactful. I've never been afraid to say no to any opportunity, even if I thought or I didn't have the experience maybe that normally folks would have to do a certain job. Even for satellite operations, I started that job when I was, 25, just turning 25 and operating satellites. And I had previously very little Python and coding experience, but I thought this sounds like an amazing job. I should apply and practice on my own and develop my Python skills alone. So when I did the technical interviews and things like that, I was able to be successful. And I've never shied away, I guess, from a challenge. When my manager or other coworkers would ask me if I would take on a certain problem, even though I had no idea how to even begin. That's kind of the fun of it, of being an engineer, is having a problem where you don't even know where to begin to solve it, and then working through it and being able to come up with a solution in the end. It's really exciting to me. And so I think that put me in a good position where, it's very clear that I'm open to challenges. And so my manager saw that and gave me the opportunity to lead the commissioning. And so I'm also really extremely thankful for her seeing, leadership in me, and being a mentor for me and giving me this chance to advance my career at such a young age. You're never going to know how to do something until you try, so you might as well go for it. And you have a team supporting you as well, right? You're never alone in things like this. And so I heavily relied on, the expertise of my team and asking questions and not being afraid to ask these questions in order to do things that maybe I had previously no experience with. I would say that there's no rush, and to not worry about being at a certain point in your life at a certain age or a certain time. Now, of course, I'm 27. I recognize I'm extremely young, but even comparing to some of my peers at Oxford who are starting their PhDs, when they're 22 or 23, there's no real point in comparing myself as to where they are at their certain age versus where I am, because everyone's path is so different, and you can plan all you want, but you're gonna take so many twists and turns. I never thought I would end up at Oxford at any time in my life. Even a year ago, I thought there was no chance this was going to happen. And so I think, there's really there's no point in comparing yourself to others. Comparison is the thief of joy is very famous phrase. And I try to hold that quite dear to myself, because otherwise, you're comparing yourself, but it's really apples to oranges. Everyone's on their own path and, forging their own career. And so, there's no competition between folks. I don't think it's more just folks forging their own paths into what they want to have out of their career. I mean, mentorship is so important. I think especially being a female identifying person in, the space industry, and now I'm more, so in the machine learning space where we are, a gender minority here, and having mentorship just for someone to look up to that's been in the same position as you, that can give you advice, help you, when your mind is running a million miles a second of, what should I be doing? I don't know what to do with my life. Am I doing the right thing? Someone that can, take a third party perspective and kind of calm you down is always amazing. I mentor another employee at Planet who's just joined our team. I've been mentoring her over the past when she was an intern and now, and it's really just, it's nothing, super formal. It's more so just someone to talk to that isn't, a direct manager, someone that she can lean on if she has any questions, whether it's about working at Planet, working a career, wanting to pursue school, someone just to talk to when she's having a tough day. I think it's important to support and empower people as much as you can, lift people up, especially if you're in, quote unquote positions of power or in higher seniority. I think it's extremely important to lift others up. I also mentor with my alma mater, Carleton. I'm a part of their alumni mentor program as well, and I'm mentoring an aerospace engineering student there from Zimbabwe. And we had our first call actually just last week, and it was just so nice to, be kind of an inspiration for someone, because I don't feel like myself that I'm necessarily inspiring, but to talk to someone that values, the things that I have to say. And it feels quite nice to know that I can give back in some way, even if it's just sharing my own story or my own perspectives. I try to give back as much as possible. I think it's extremely important. One of the biggest lessons has been to not be afraid to try new things. And what I mean by that is, I started my degree in aerospace engineering, and I thought, I'm so like in such a specific field that there's no way I can branch out into anything else. And when I started a master's in computer engineering, I thought like, there's no way I could be successful in this. I've never done anything related to computer engineering. And then it went quite well. I defended my thesis and it was fine. And kind of the same thing with going into Planet as well, thinking, what are really the chances that I can even get a job here? Like, I've never operated satellites. Like, this doesn't seem like something that's achievable, but basically trying not to count yourself out, right? You're going to hear a lot of no's anyways in your life, whether that's applying to things or whatever. People are going to tell you no. So don't count yourself out and be the person to tell yourself no. If anything, just apply yourself as much as possible. You're not going to get something you don't apply for, so you might as well apply anyways. And it's always to be in a better position to have too many opportunities than none at all, is how I try to see it. And so and to not be afraid to try new things. I mean, even for what I'm in now at Oxford, I have, some machine learning background, but effectively I would say I'm one of the people in my program that probably has the least. And so it's definitely a scary thing to be in a room of people that are effectively much, maybe quote unquote, smarter in the topic than you are. But it's important to grow as a person. That's really the only way you're going to do it, is by challenging yourself and not being afraid to try things that maybe you're not a quote unquote expert in. But this is the way you grow as a person in your career. And just because you've done one thing for a long time, it doesn't mean you can't do something else. I think that's definitely what I've learned, and that's just been from just trying new things and putting myself out there throughout my career thus far. I'm biased because I work in the Earth observation sector of the space industry, but honestly, for me, it's the power of using space for climate change analysis to be able to, quantify the sustainable development goals through Earth observation. I mean, I think this is absolutely the most important thing. And this is why I want to be in Earth observation within the space industry, because what you're doing is directly impacting the planet in a positive way. And I think this is incredibly important. For a long time, I struggled with whether or not I wanted to pursue medicine or go into the space industry, because I felt that, can I really help people if I'm in the space industry? Of course, there's, trickle down technology and things like this, but when you're a doctor, of course, you're seeing patients and you can feel that impact But with Earth observation and, at Planet, what we use our data to help life on Earth and to see change over time, and we use a lot of that for climate applications. It's really cool to know that, me operating these satellites that are taking these images is effectively, making this big impact on our Earth. And so I think anything related to climate change is incredibly important, and utilizing the space technology that we have towards, sustainably creating hopefully a better future for tomorrow is the most important thing happening right now. And that's what I'm hoping to cater my research to at Oxford as well, as to how we can use, machine learning and space-based data to kind of tackle and quantify the impacts of climate change.